Alright, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to some tabletop goodness. We're playing Warcrow. Because he's never played, I figured instead of setting up a game, we're gonna play through the Winds from the North little narrative campaign thing, which is kind of like the intro stuff anyways. And we'll just see how that goes. If y'all followed any of my original Warcrow stuff when I got this is still rather confusing in the way that it dictates what triggers what and what the events are. The first one's pretty straightforward, but the second one gets a little bit more complex as far as the if this then that type of ruling, so it's kind of confusing. So there's absolutely going to be stuff done wrong, and that I'll give the same disclaimer that I'll give for almost all the games, is that there's going to be stuff that's done wrong, and that's just going to be the way that it is, because I can't remember how to play all the games that I play on the channel. So if stuff's wrong, it is what it is. Some stuff we intentionally just kind of ignore. That's just going to be how it is. So I guess before we get going, if y'all were here for the stream earlier, we did some gameplay stream stuff. Y'all want to watch that? We did some co-op, kind of like adventure puzzle game with Nero. He's over on Twitch if you want to go check him out. And then the channel memberships and all that stuff are live now. If you want to join, I appreciate you, but you don't have to. Feel no pressure there. So, okay. We figured we'd wait till we started this to even talk about any of what's happening here, just so it's all on record, I guess. So, this first scenario limits you to like a certain set of stuff. So these people are over here because they'll come in the next scenario when we get to the magic stuff. And then obviously I have some other ones that we can use down the road. But for now, we're just going to use the core box stuff. There are 2 cards, because these are like the elite versions of the other characters, but we're just using the base versions right now. So, on your cards, I guess I could have set up my camera actually just to show these cards, but that's okay. But swap. You know, we'll keep it. So at the top you got your move value. That's how far you can move. 3-2, so you move in chunks of 2. So one move, you do a 3-2, so it's 3-2. So this is like your move tool. So if you're moving 3-2, you would 3. Same as anything else. The parentheses is your charge value, so that's what you have the longer stick for. The W, I believe, is your wounds. You take 5 damage. Willpower, well, that's what you'd roll for your willpower test. Morale is kind of like your courage value from Legion, where you get like stressed out or whatever. And then the ABB, I believe, is what's supposed to be like within that. So like this one man. Part of what I don't get is the Orc Hunters are always shown as 4. Same thing with the Bucklermen, but it says ABB 3. So I don't know if that's like 1 plus 3. That makes sense to me. So
3 additional, maybe.
Yeah, but then that doesn't. The little sword thing is your melee pool. So, like in my case, it's 2 reds, an orange, and a yellow. So that's what you roll for your attack. The Bucklerman would probably be the easiest because it has less stuff on it.
Other than a sword.
Yeah, so they're only melee.
Oh wait, no,
but then right there. Yeah, and that number that is next to the bow, ranged people, so I can't see that. Is I think the range. There's a little number next to it. It's like what, 8 over there?
And this is for the range?
That's just, it's the same measurements, it's just longer measurements. So this is just a longer version of this. This is just,
so it'd be easier to measure like range of 8 with the
the little castle symbol on that same row is what you roll for your defense. The little lightning bolt, you can choose to stress to gain stuff. So like in this guy's case, if I chose to stress my guy on attack, which is kind of the only way you gain like benefits and stuff, I would get a dice that just has a guaranteed like hollow and stuff, and we'll get to that. The little black diamonds underneath the various things are your switches. So similar to expertise in Shatterpoint, you can spend symbols to gain different effects. Got some. That little like squiggle star circle thing is command skills, which I put yours over there already. So your guy has 3 of the little command symbols up by his picture, so you get 3 command points, similar to like Force from Shatterpoint.
What are these?
Those are the activation tokens, just so you can keep track of who's gone. And then the bottom half of the card doesn't matter. That's if you add them to, so where this little like shadow cut is. That's if you add them to a unit, you would put them like this. So that's like their add-on version. And then for the Bucklermen and like the Hunters, you have like a 3+. That's if they have 3 or more people. And then if you start losing them, you'll use the bottom value for 2 or less or whatever. So they get weaker as they dwindle, essentially. That's kind of the basic stuff. This applies the same, like 2 simple actions or a long action. I kind of, in sense, I play from everything that we played, where it's like you're gonna move and attack or double move. I don't think there's really any dodging of any kind. So most of the time you're just kind of double moving. So your simple actions is a melee attack. Your ranged actions or your other is just a ranged attack. Casting a spell, which is a whole thing we'll deal with in the second, But then your long actions are charge, which is a straight line move, which is using that parenthesis value. So you can go from point A to point B, you can charge, and you get to re-roll your entire attack roll if you want to. Or you can assault, which is basically just moving until you engage with an enemy to attack them anyway. So you don't get the charge benefit, but it's still a move and attack, basically. And there's some other crap, which get lost in the sauce with this game. There seems to be a bunch of stuff. There's also, like, symbols we'll deal with, like debuffs, kind of. This game is done in rounds, but it's also done in turns. So this guy, like, if I go and then you go, that's a turn. I go, you go, that's a turn. I go, you go, that's a turn. Maybe a round is comprised of 3 turns. Which, in our case, each round is going to be 2 turns. So we both have 3 activations. You only get 2 turns. You can go with the same people multiple times, but you have to stress them to do that. So there's obviously like pros and cons to maybe whether or not you want to do that. And obviously in this case, if you go with 2 different people, one of your people are not going to go. But at the end of the thing, anybody who has not gone gets to do a 1 move. So they get it's like the nobody left behind rule. So you just do 1 move to kind of bring them up into the fight. Maybe you want to go with them next turn. And this first little one is going to be 3 rounds. There's various different win conditions or point things, but it's all calculated at the end of the 3 rounds, so you can just kind of play through the 3 rounds. The event marker is the snowstorm. So 1/1. All units must pass a willpower test. If they don't succeed, they receive a slowed state. And that's kind of just all it is. And then it moves 2 rounds. Basically this first round we'll each go with 1 person, and then the snowstorm will trigger. We do a willpower test on our characters, see who gets slowed, who doesn't, and then this will move 2 slots, and then we'll go up at the end of that turn, and so on and so forth. So we're kind of getting gusted with wind every so often. If that makes sense.
Just out the gate, that seems to be a whole lot more complicated than Shatterpoint.
I don't think it's that. This confuses me because of the way that they like phrase the event markers and stuff, and you'll see that in the next one. I think if there was somebody who actually understood it, who could explain it, it would make more sense. But when it comes down to actually playing it, it seems to play pretty similar to most everything else. But again, I think this will probably make more sense as we go. I don't feel like rolling those dice, so we're gonna roll one of these dice, and whoever gets the highest number can choose who wants to deploy first. Wow. So do you want me to go on board first or second? And then I guess whoever deploys first will go second. So do you want to take the first action, or do you want to deploy the first unit?
I'm gonna take the first action.
Okay, so
Really, just because I just don't know how the deployment works.
might have said that backwards actually. So our deployment thing is 5 strides, which actually let's use this guy. It's just a rectangle across. This is backwards, so some of this is a little backwards because I'm not playing Hegemony, I'm playing the tribes. So we'll have to remember that for scoring at the end. So you want to, what did you say you wanted to do?
First action.
Okay. So
You deploy first?
you deploy first. No. I deploy first. Because I want to go second anyway, so it makes sense to me. Let's just go with...
Do we alternate deployment?
Yep, as well. And the movement is just like Legion, so like you'll pick your lead guy, and then you'll just kind of bring the guys with them. Keep them close by. This fella here, I guess. It's a big boy. As far as I understand, you can shoot and do ranged attacks into engagement, but it's actual line of sight. So like if I have a guy here and you're standing here, you can't shoot this guy. It's whatever.
What's the range for engagement?
I think it's base to base in this game. Also, if you guys have any issues hearing us or anything like that, let me know, because I had to change some of the audio settings a little bit to accommodate for both of us, so hopefully that stays fine. Okay, so you get to go first. You'll probably be double moving. The capturing of an objective is based upon the number in the circle at the end of the black line.
It's 0.
Yeah, so that guy, he can take something, but if he has to contest anybody for it, he can't because he doesn't have a value. So, like, part of the problem with the tribes is basically nobody has any conquest value. I just have to try to kill you or capture objectives that aren't being contested.
To be fair, only these guys have any contest value. Surgeon 0 and he's 0. Right? Ain't no contest right now. It's plugging it out, looks like.
Maybe not him. I think your elite guy has some conquest value. But yeah, I've only got 1 conquest value. So I literally can't contest you on any objective that I fight you over, period, if it's the Bucklerman, because you just have a higher value. And take an objective, I think you have to have more conquest value. So if there isn't more, it just stays what it is, I guess. But yeah, you're probably just going to be moving, and I would just play this exactly how it looks as far as like domination goes. Like, you're going to get points if you have this objective. I'll get points if I have that objective. If a player controls both red objectives, you'll get I guess an extra thing for the strategist, whatever, in the campaign book, which we can see on the next page anyways. And then you get a point if you control the middle point. So this is as simple as it gets. So we're basically just playing domination over 6 turns, meaning you back and forth, just to go through combat and stuff.
And the movement is 2, 3, and you can do whatever combination of that you want.
It's done in that order.
Right.
But yeah. So you can double move, so you do 2, 3, 2, 3. But they, I guess, do that to change, like, the way that your angles and stuff move or whatever.
2.
And then your capturing distance is 3 around. So we'll take these guys. Gonna be blue.
And 2. It's close enough. One's around because, probably gonna lose anyway.
Okay, and then make sure you put a little guy on your card so you know that it's going. This charge I had is 10. Let's just go with. Yeah, we'll go with the hunters. They got 3-2 move. This little guy. Just do 1 move. But you said that guy doesn't have any conquest value.
Mm-mm.
The hunters have a conquest of 1 point, so I can take that from you. But we don't score anything until the very, very end of the game. So that is the end of turn 1 of the first round. So snowstorm's going to go off. So missing a dice. What? Missing a dice. It's supposed to be 3 orange dice. Did I drop one at some point? Could have. But you go along your willpower test, people, and just roll your orange dice or whatever they roll for their willpower test. Let's see.
So for my main guy, it says anybody within 20 strides may use my willpower instead of theirs. Is the stride counter?
Yeah.
As long as they're within the stick. So I can use my willpower.
Okay.
Just 2 instead of 1 for each of them. So do I have to roll these separately for all 3?
Yep. You just go down the list with each one.
Main guy. That means.
So you're looking for hits. So you got a hit, so you're good.
Now for my bucklermen.
Good.
And my war surgeon.
Good. So, Ratbane, good. Wise man, not good. This is the slowed bluff. And hunters, good. It's really weird. And then this moves. But sure. I left these boards out just in case we end up needing them. I have to move all these things under the table and look for the dice. Remember even when that would have happened. So slowed is this pirate. Okay, so it is your turn, I believe.
Yeah.
And again, you can activate the same guy twice but you have to stress him, and he has a morale of 2. And if you end your thing, I think equal to that value, you take a willpower test. If you don't pass it, you become demoralized, which is a whole thing that I don't think I've ever actually had come up. So if that happens, we'll figure it out.
I can also use one of these to reduce stress by 1 by all allied units within 20 strides.
And you also, I think, at least the way that I've been doing it, because I don't remember, to be honest with you, if that was the case, remove a stress at the end of every round.
So how did you say the assault works?
You move, I think it's move until you're engaged. Move until engaging in combat with an enemy, resolve a melee attack.
More or less. Trying to decide if I want to just send my bucklermen at your people. Because they also have a contest value of 2.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll just do that then.
That sucks. Bounce to God knows where, so it could be on any one of these game boards over there.
So, I am now engaged
My 100% the orange dice.
with your people. So, is this one of those things where you roll an attack pool for each one, or is it just all across?
No, that is
Okay.
This is like
That's a bummer, because that's a red and 3 orange.
let me check something. Worst case, we'll just downgrade it to yellows, I guess. But of course, both my phones that I use for my flashlights are active currently. So I knew I dropped dice yesterday or the other day, but it was not for this. Oh, that. I did play this. We're doing bounce on kills. Let's see. There it is. Like I said, they bounce anywhere. It was like 3 game boards up, like in between those things.
Planning ahead. Okay, so I need to roll. What's the weird little exclamation point in the black diamond?
That's your switches. So we'll deal with that after you roll.
I'm gonna roll a red and 3 orange.
Yes, this is the first mission in the Winds from the North campaign. So this is the first activation of turn 2. So we kind of just started. I don't play it a ton, and he's never played it, so this was just the easiest way to go about it. So these are hits. And you have 1 solid. What is your switch? Is it a solid or a hollow for the exclamation point?
Hollow.
Okay, so this doesn't do anything. So that could just be like bonuses for different things. So in this case, you just have 4 hits. And that's on the hunters, right?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm rolling a green and 2 blacks. See, so I have switches that if I get shields, they add damage to my roll. So hollows I can't use. Elite characters can, so like your Hetman probably could use these. But in this case, I have 1 shield, which is 1 save.
That's what's throwing me off is I'm pretty sure the shield is a save, right?
Yeah.
So if I were to get a hollow exclamation point, it would add a save to my attack roll.
Yep. Which is because I have 1 thing, but I also have the things for my shields add damages to my roll. So I get 1 damage in my pool. So you take 1 damage, and then I will take 3 damage because those exclamation points don't do me any good. So you take 1 damage, which this isn't the most effective way to do this because each of these, I think they're the same, have 2 wounds each.
Yeah.
So you just have to keep track of what's what. I'm taking 3, so I've got 1 dead guy, and then 1 wound on the side. I think that is more or less.
You could just keep it on 3, so you know 1 dead guy and 1 wound on another, so you can keep track. That means this flips to me, right?
Yeah. And because you won that combat, which I think is mainly just exchanged in like damage exchange, so you did more damage to me than I did to you. And stressed, or I've got 1 stress for losing, and then you get to push me. I think it's like range 3. I think it's 3. So like you could push basically my leader back. And then you have the choice to follow him or
Into what? A follow-up attack or just leave him?
you just follow him. So it's just basically to keep pressing essentially.
Ah.
So you either leave him or you press him.
Never pressing.
And just keep him engaged, but keep him pushed back. Also, I didn't set up the second camera. I just went with the 1 camera angle for the sake of
I'm dumb.
simplicity because it's on a smaller board. Goodness.
Yes.
I'll mute. Hold on. Yeah, that's part of why I bound this here, mainly because I was like sneezing, so I just tied a button to this so I can mute.
Doesn't make you just visually see the thing.
Yeah, but I don't have to blow their ears out. Okay, so it's my turn.
Yes.
Okay. Now I think the wise main, I think technically speaking, the wrath main should be more offensive, so I'm going to get in the mix here. I'm gonna smush this dude in here. Or alright. So I'm charging, which is basically just the straight line move into the stuff and lets me make an attack. And if I want, I can reroll my whole attack. So if I just whip it completely, I can just reroll it. But you have to reroll all of it. You can't reroll some of it. I'm also going to stress because I have this lightning bolt, like your melee attack on that guy right there. And that's going to give me a hollow and an exclamation point. So I will just set this here. And then I roll my regular attack. Let's take it on my guy. So these hollows typically don't count, but because I'm attacking with an elite character, that counts as a solid essentially. So I've got 4, 5. And I've got 4 solid exclamation points, which don't do me any good whatsoever. But for each hollow I rolled, which is 2, you're just going to take damage that you can't stop. So that's 1 dead guy for you. Or wait, you've got
1 damage.
So that's a dead guy. Yes, nothing before we even roll the d1. So now you roll your defense, which you've still got 3 or more guys. So you roll on what, 2 greens and a black.
Looks like it.
And I believe your switch is a shield.
Yeah.
You got 3 saves. Do those, and you take 2 damage. So you got
Another deck.
just another one. And then because I won in combat, you get a stress. And I will be using this guy as your lead guy.
I think so.
Him and so that's the end of turn 2, which is the end of the first round. Which this game doesn't look like it does any scoring at the end of the rounds, so we just keep going as normal. But I guess that's the end of the round. So now you do 1 free move with your guy, and in my case, the wise man, who is slow, so he's only going to get a little bit.
You still move him based off the 2-3-3-3 whatever.
Yeah, you just get one thing. I believe slowed. Yeah, I can't use the second one. So because he was slowed, I only got a 2 move instead of a 2-3. And we remove stress from somebody who's stressed. 1 stress each. I don't know if that's the correct. It made more sense to me.
So the stress I just got goes away.
Yeah, sure. Yep, and I guess they're saying that the objectives, we can't move through them, and they're, I guess, line of sight block. So it makes more sense in something like this scenario-wise, but
And you should print some more of those and use those as objectives.
that's, I think, originally why I printed them for call to arms. So we'll just... Yeah, part of what I was talking about, I don't think you were in here at the start. I play Warcrow on occasion, but I only play it by myself. So I can only figure out what I can figure out on my own. So there's going to be stuff that's done wrong. So if you want to give a shout, that's great, but there's probably going to be some stuff I do wrong, I'm sure. It is...
My turn?
Your turn.
Do we have to do the snowstorm now?
Nope, it's at the end of the turn, I believe. Or at least that's how we're going to do it.
When do these deployment tokens fall off?
That resets every round.
Oh.
So this first thing is only 2 turn rounds, so
Okay then. Yes. Yeah, I don't know that I actually need to do this, but I was gonna move this guy into combat with that guy. Let's see, 2-3. So I'm in order to do that and then that. Right?
I'm doing an assault.
Well, that's
Should wonder if I have enough things that I could swap these with.
Can I just stress him out the gate? Is that an action?
What do you mean?
To get the bonus.
Yeah, you just basically do that when you're doing the attack. So you just give him 1 stress token, and
I got one.
it's pretty close actually.
So stress him, and I think that's an automatic. Okay, with a stress, it's like the little starburst. And then his attack pool also has the same thing.
Yeah, so you just get 1 guaranteed damage, so you just
So it looks
set
like
that
this.
aside, or 1 hit. And then for a stress, you just get a guaranteed hit. So you get,
2 guaranteed hits.
yeah, so we'll just do this.
Okay. So then I roll a red, a yellow, and a blue. And then for, I guess it's a hollow exclamation point, I get another hit.
That's if you're, oh, you're doing the ranged attack.
No, no,
Or-
it wasn't.
Yeah, that's just for the ranged attack. So there'll be switches under, kind of like
Okay.
this for each thing.
So then the hollows won't do anything.
They'll still count as regular things for you because you're an elite. makes more sense.
Wow. So, 3 hits total.
Yeah.
Useless.
And that's on Wrathmane, this guy,
Oh yeah.
big orc fella. I swapped out our long objectives with our little puzzle stones and the middle objective with the big one because the bases are close enough, but that way it's easier to make sense of it. I'm rolling 2 blue and black. I kind of want to stress here. Just in case, so I'm gonna stress. It's gonna give me 1 damage and a red. Basically, it's just giving me some opt-ins on my roll. That's and I just rolled 2 blues. So I don't have any switches of any kind for defense. So I've got what, 2 saves. So let's get this guy. My exclamation points are going to do me any good. And then, so you take 2 damage and I take 1 damage. And I guess in that case you lost that, so your guy's going to be stressed again.
Well, I could also use one of these for, like, since I guess it's technically the end of my turn, I could use one of these and it reduces stress from all allied units within 20 strides. That includes myself, right?
I guess, yeah. So you just keep the one stressed.
Yeah. And,
Um,
well, that would actually work.
and put you away. And and now do some snowstorm. Move this guy. Let's go into so do some willpower checking. Rathmane is good. Wise Mane good, and Hunter good. None of my guys are slowed by the snow as they shouldn't be.
Main guy, players, and good.
Okay. It's your turn.
I just went with main guy.
Oh, right. That's right. I did. Oh, well, I guess that wouldn't happen yet. I hadn't gone yet. Not that it mattered because we're still here. Let's go. Which is still kind of all weirdly engaged. Although I guess technically this dude would get pushed back. So. Honestly, the only hope I had of like coming out of this is to get rid of the buckler so that's kind of what I need to focus on, I think. So we're gonna go with the, and we're gonna charge.
Does your main guy have any contests?
No, that's not.
I'm gonna say because now that I'm down below 3, I've only got 1 contest.
Yeah, but even if I get like once I get in range with these guys because it's 1-to-1 conquest. Thank you. I actually, it's kind of funny, a while back before I did this, I think I did what you're looking at, and then I had mentioned if people wanted to know how I did it, I could do it with the other pieces. And I never heard anything in either direction, so I just knocked them out in the weekend. But yeah, they're pretty straightforward. I think maybe I posted on my Instagram. There's a couple progress photos, but it's pretty straightforward. I can maybe do a smaller piece of something at some point just to show how I did it. But let's go with. We're gonna go with the hunters, and we're gonna move. Also, a note on the conquest because it's 1-to-1, the objective doesn't change. I don't think you can neutralize an objective. You have to take the objective. Conquest.
So if I were to cap it first and then you come in with the same contest, I would still
I have to get more than to take it. I think, if I understand correctly. So we're gonna charge in with our guys here. Sneak on in here. And that's gonna be because I still got 3 plus, 1 red, 3 orange. The bucklermen are kind of hard to get damage through if I can't get an abundance, which is part of why I keep stressing when I attack you.
If you've already got a stress, can it be applied towards your rolls, or do you have to stress?
You have to stress to get
as an action. Okay.
Yep. Yeah. 3 hollows don't do me any good, but I can give you vulnerable with 2 exclamation points. Why am I getting a call on this phone at this time? Hold on a second. I keep getting calls. It's not even related to this. I just keep getting calls on this number. I just keep spam calling it, but it's not related to work. That's the text I was talking about getting the 11 prayers text for. When it's just block this number. This is ridiculous.
Maybe they're calling to tell you want to cruise.
Oh yeah. I'm gonna spam call me 3 times. Block. Stop call.
That's your work phone?
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Hopefully that's not an issue anymore. And I know it's not a work call because they texted me 11 prayers. What does that have to do with work? Attack it. Right. 3 hits. Hollows don't do me any good. I have 2 exclamation points, so I can give you some vulnerable goodness. Plop that guy on. And I don't know if that applies. Maybe somebody in chat knows if that applies for this current attack or that applies for the following attacks. I'm not sure. But basically I could just cancel one of your defense dice rolls with at least one thing. So if you roll like a shield dice that has 2 shields on it, I could theoretically cancel that as part of the vulnerable thing. Remove this at the end of the activation in which you applied its effects. I guess it would apply in this roll. I don't see why it wouldn't. No, it's for the next attack. Okay, there you go. So just roll your defense as normal.
It may also be irrelevant because if I can't save all of that, then both of them are dead.
Yeah, typically you're going to roll at least 3 shields for the buck.
With 2 blues?
You get your switches. Oh, well, yeah, I guess you are weaker. But yeah, each exclamation point you get is shields. They're typically pretty hard to get rid of. I don't think eating this solid. So you got what? 1 save, so you take 2 damage. So you got a guy with 1 health.
Yeah.
Push this fellow back, and you're going to be stressed again.
They weren't really stressed.
Well, you're going to get a stress for losing combat. And hello, I'll just leave it there. Okay, so that's the end of turn 3. Into turn 4, that's when the snowstorm should have happened. We just looped a little bit, so it's your turn. They have a passive that when you move them up, when the no one left behind thing, they heal people within a radius around.
Yeah. Look at that. Allied units that are within 5 strides at any moment heal for 1, I guess, wound. But looking at his ability, but it's got a symbol next to it that like a weird whirly star.
Yeah, it's your command point.
It's not the same shape or color.
Oh, that's just a regular old skill then, so don't take a command.
First aid. Reduced by 1 the target's stress, roll a red and an orange. You may heal 1 wound from the target per each hit obtained. You may apply the switch. Oh, and exclamation reduce 1 the target's stress. Okay. So, I guess using that initially on the last of my bucklers means he doesn't have a stress, and then I get to roll a red and an orange to see if I can heal. Now, if I were to heal, say, 2 wounds, would I be able to bring one of them back?
I would assume yes, based on like Legion logic, but I don't think, even had that come up. Give it this.
That's
1 wound back.
yeah.
So your guy's just extra powered.
He's just healed.
Yeah.
Instead of half day. Okay.
And that is a short action performing a skill, so you could technically still move him.
Okay, so
Or if he's got a ranged attack, you can do a ranged attack.
instead, I'm just going to put him in the middle of my guys, so when we get to the end of your turn, they'll just passively heal a little bit.
I think you only get that during the no one left behind phase if you move them. What's it say? I don't know, actually.
Just says during the no one gets left behind step, the allied units that are within 5 strides at any moment heal for 1
Okay,
wound.
cool. Alright, so it's my turn.
Interesting.
So let's see, I went with the Hunters. And the Wrathmane did some stuff to fix it. So that's the round. There's 2 more turns after this. Go with the Hunters again. Oh, stress them to go with them again. And I'm gonna charge you. So we got a red. Also, my dice tray is like all extra dark because the light that's typically like right there next to it is a. So hopefully y'all can see the actual symbols in here, like somewhat. I can't really see on my little reference monitor. There we go. Red, 3 orange. No, I want that. Yeah, red, 3 orange. 8. So I guess you'll stay vulnerable if I can't manage to kill you. I can apply it again. I don't know how that works because technically you're about to spin that vulnerable. Would this apply for the following attack? I would assume it does, but I don't know. So go ahead and roll your points. So those turn into shields, and then because you're vulnerable, we'll just get rid of all of them. So you save 1, take 2. Exactly what we were looking for. Now, this is something, and I've like half glanced through the rulebook to try to figure it out. I feel like somebody said it at some point that when you kill a unit, you can move to again illustrate that like momentum that's kind of present in this. So I would basically be able to move again after killing you, because like if you win combat, you could push and follow them. But I can't find, I don't know where it would even be in the rulebook, but I can't find anything about whether or not that is the case. So, no. Wow, there it is. Destroy unit, additional movement. If you have completely eliminated the enemy unit, your unit can perform the move action once for free. Oh, yeah, you're right. Look at that. Thank you. That's funny. There was one day I was playing this by myself. I looked through, I think it was the smaller rule book. This is the full rule book that I printed. Couldn't find it anywhere. Gonna move over here with this. And just switch back over here. So that is the end of the round. Do your no one gets left behind moving for whoever didn't activate, which
with just and healing on that guy, so he goes down to 1 wound.
There. Move some stress. Okay. So at the end of this turn, there will be a snowstorm. Your turn.
Okay, I'm gonna charge your main guy with my main guy. And I'm gonna stress him.
The elite version of him, like, just absolutely slaps him melee.
Like if he 2 hits automatically, and I get a red, a yellow, and a blue.
So you're charging, stressing, and melee. Okay. 2 blues, black. See, part of the, I guess, worry of stressing here is if I wanted to stress on defense, is if I don't do more damage to you than you did to me, then I would gain another stress, and then I would be at my cap. So let's do that. That's there. Was that?
It was a solid.
No. Didn't do me any good, I don't believe. He doesn't have any defensive switches, so just 2. So I take 1. And that stress me. And you can push me. So push me into that fence.
Sure.
You can follow.
No.
My turn.
What are you supposed to get for winning a victory?
What do you mean?
Wasn't there something that's supposed to happen when you win the combat?
I get stressed.
Is that it?
Yep. So I get stressed and you can push me. Which is something that I stated in my original, like, whatever, that I liked that until Shatterpoint, this was the first game I played that, like, represented that type of, like, character movement between units, where, like, you're doing stuff that's pushing me around and it's kind of representing that, like, conquest of we're pressing forward. I think it's kind of cool feeling compared to other stuff. Is my turn. I think much. He's only got 2 wounds. Prago's. It's two turns. Could try to go with. Oh well, actually, you don't have any conquest. Does he have the passive that boosts the conquest value of anybody?
Who?
Your Hetman. I think that might just be the elite version. Okay. No, actually, this is my objective, because you don't have the conquest value on anybody. And I got 1 conquest value. So we just get to beat the crap out of each other here for a minute. I'll go with my Wrathmane, because why not? And I'm gonna do this just for the sake of doing it, and do his little command skill, which is Wrathroar, which is all enemy units within 10 strides are going to be frightened and disarmed. So what that actually does. Frightened, you must reroll a successful willpower test, which actually we might at least get to see take effect because of the snowstorm things. And then disarmed, I can cancel 1 dice from attack. So dice disarmed and vulnerable are the same. And then I will charge your fella. And just gonna be 2 red, in there. Just stress, but I'm not gonna. 3 hits, and you get the vulnerable state. So you're frightened,
Okay.
you're vulnerable, you're disarmed.
Don't I have to do a willpower test for the frightened?
That'll be, it just makes you re-roll willpower checks. So I had 3? Roll your tickets.
Oh, cool. The whole blue. And it looks like I can just automatically get a shield?
Or, yeah, stressing.
No. Just
Oh,
the
yeah,
regular.
yeah.
Um,
And that'll be treated basically as a solid. So, take, 1? And then the vulnerable for the next one, I guess. Or, yeah, that's right. Take 1 damage. And you get stressed, which, see, we're gonna have to figure out how that actually works. But I think it's at the end of your activation. And we're just gonna put you back here. And now we do snowstorm checks. So Wrathbane, he's good. Tribesmen, he's good. And Hunters, they're good. So because they're basically both frightened, you'll re-roll. Yeah, your unit must re-roll all of its successful willpower tests once per test. So. Boo, doubles.
okay, so that was for homeboy.
Yep. Boo. Oh. This is a weak snowstorm.
Maybe my armor's just more insulated.
I mean, I guess not fair where you're walking around with our biceps out. And then this won't take account again. And this is the last turn of
Oh. Are we at the nobody gets left behind stage then?
No, that was the first turn of the last round.
Okay.
So this is just the last turn of this first scenario.
Alright, well, I guess I'm going to use my War Surgeon and use the skill again on main guy. Reduces his target stress by 1, and then I will roll. Because right now he's got 2. I just only have 1 token.
Yeah.
So using the skill will automatically reduce it by 1, and then when I do the roll, if I get any solid exclamation, I can reduce it again. But for every hit, I can reduce the wounds.
Wounds champion. I had a panda.
Wow.
He's back up to full health.
Full health. Okay. Still got 1 stress, but and then guess, heroic deed, I'm just gonna turn and smack those people. Have to be literally base to base?
Yep. It's far away. I didn't move any further than I did. So you're kind of just as well like this. Or you could just run away. You son of a gun.
That's what's affected me, right?
Yeah. I don't have. I don't know. I would imagine that it's based off of the lead and not like me just having somebody in range. So I think that's the easiest way to check that. Because I could move like here and then put like a line of people, and that doesn't make sense. Is this just my turn? Yeah. Oh, wait, no, because that's the last. This is the last thing, so that doesn't bother me at all. Because I can just come and get you. Wait. So with the hunters, and we're coming to get you. And let's say that I can charge you and see your base. Get you. Red, prevail, yellow. Big 4 hits and vulnerable, but that's not gonna matter because it's the last
4 hits?
Yeah.
I get 1 black die.
Good luck.
I can't save all that.
But you went down swinging. You're dead. Okay. So, just because we're doing this and we're doing it in more of a like whatever sense, we'll use this thing because I didn't use it the first time. So, gain 1 military point as the Northern Tribes controlling that objective. There, so that's 1 military point. Player controls. Gain the Strategist achievement. And you get 1 arcane point if you control the blue objective mark. So, what? Broken.
And you've got all 3. Does it really matter?
Dang, it's the wrong side. I'm just marking it because it's part of the book. Well. Okay, now, which strategist thing doesn't. So the confusing part is about to kick in for Mirror in the Wasteland. So we're gonna set it's here. These tried to like roughly think about how we would set this up or how we would do this. And there's not really a good way to do it. So I think we're gonna keep the same. This. I was hoping I could use the lake that's over there, but and that's just kind of going. That doesn't make sense.
Looks like it's mirrored.
This is just gonna be dead center, magical 2. Place terrain elements as indicated. Okay. Each player can place 1 piece of terrain wall in any part of the scenario that is not in the deployment zone. That is. We're not gonna deal with the wall just because of having this stuff built in. This is all supposed to be played on this mat, but I don't like recording with that mat because it's shiny. And we're just gonna plop trees back on here, some fashion, and great, and And our objectives. So this is the first one that I'm kind of talking about that gets rather confusing with the if this then that type of things. But our mages are going to come into play here. And we're going to put hand me one of those little grates on the top shelf over there. They look like little sewer grates. We'll use that because I think the whole thing is like coming over here to get something. So we're going to use that as the... Basically, the mages need to go over here and search this thing.
Move those trees.
Because we can move in and around. And we'll use this rune stone for objective, or less. So now our available units are our elites, so you could swap out your base guy for Drago. And what's kind of like, I get it was a preemptive thing, is Alborg's like stuff is kind of based around the Varank, which the Varank weren't even out at this point. And we also get access to our mage characters. So there, back stuff. Okay. So, scenario 2 is the Mirror in the Wasteland. This is going to be another 3 rounds, but instead of 2 turns each, we're doing 3 turns each. And at the end of each round, we're going to gain points for different. So something fine. Special rules: high command characters can't join units, which that's fine. I think I might, just for the sake of it, just so I don't have to deal with it, I'm going to add my wise main into my hunters. So to simplify that a little. I like the War Surgeon better as a standalone thing, just because of the passive like AoE healing, but I don't really actually know what he does as part of it.
I think literally just heal.
And feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, because I don't remember. If you add a character to a unit, the only way I could think of to do that is to play it like Legion, where like they're essentially now the new lead of the unit. So they'll be the last one to die, but there's a little bit of a disconnect on the cards for me as to how that would function, specifically with a character that comes later in the game that can target a character in a unit. So I'm a little confused. Maybe chat can help with that.
So we have to add him to a unit?
No, you don't have to. I'm just doing that just because I can. Because if I add him to a unit, he adds a conquest value, whereas if he's by himself, he doesn't get anything. So
He does that way by himself, not for me.
I'm going to add my wise main to my, just for the sake of it. The blue objective, which in this case is our sewer grate over here, can only be interacted with by your spellcaster.
I'm gonna add my War Surgeon to the bucklers.
So this is where things get a little confusing, and I will absolutely butcher part of this, I'm sure. So with this event, there's a monster in this lake that will attack things at different points, I think. But that happens at a certain point. So the goal, this is like, again, a narrative thing. So the first point was, I guess, just literally an introduction. This point, I think your goal is to trade this for a key that will take place in the next scenario, which, depending on how long this takes, we probably won't get to the third scenario, but we could always play that at some other point. So this one's a little bit more related and will have a bit to do with the third scenario. So your spellcaster can only interact with this, and I think interact is an action. So like if you move and interact, you'll just kind of move. And you'll place the marker on your spellcaster's card, and then during the activation, that character can spin the marker to perform the long action Release the Storm, which does some stuff. The event 2 marker, which this is where I get confused and stuff doesn't make any sense to me, is where does the event 2 marker come from? I don't know. Because you place it on your high command character, and now they have a bonus of +1 command. I have no idea. Unless the event 2 marker came from the jar, maybe? So I don't know. And this is where I get confused, because I feel like some of this stuff isn't as clear as I think it is. Or maybe I'm just an idiot. Possible. But for most of this stuff, it's not going to matter. Basically, the goal is to get to this, and then you can do one of these things over here. And depending on that thing, yeah, I agree. The scenario is confusing. The way that they lay it out in this book, which you guys can't see, I would assume if you're watching this, you probably know what I'm talking about. It's a lot of things. Some of it is clear, and some of it makes perfect sense, and some of it is very convoluted and confusing. I would not mind a pass of how else this would work. But basically, I think we're just going to be fighting over this, relatively speaking, and then our spellcasters are going to want to get over here and touch this one, and basically pick that up. And you can exchange, if you have that event 1 marker, which is from collecting this, you can basically just exchange it for the key. Place the event 3 marker on the character's profile. And I think I remembered something about you could leave the board with that key to guarantee you keep it. Let's see. Let's read through this and make sure we know what we're doing, relatively speaking. So if your character has the event 1 marker, which comes from interacting with this, they may exchange it for the event 3 marker instead. Place the event 3 marker on the character's profile, mark the key in the campaign log. If not in play, place the event 4 marker 1 position ahead of the current one on the turn tracker, which also doesn't really make sense. But the event 4 marker is what triggers the Hands of the Mirror, which has to do with this guy. And we can kill this thing. There's like a beast, like a kind of like a sarlacc. It's kind of what it sounds like. Things coming out and attacking out of the lake. You see what I'm talking about? Where you go from the first scenario that's like just fight over these 3 things to all this, if this and that, and it's not illustrated super well. Remove the blue objective from the field because it's been dealt with, essentially. And this is where I get a little confused. It's because that's exchange. You can persuade, which is make a willpower test. Before rolling the dice, you may spend a command token to add 1 hit to your roll. Only once per roll. If you get 0 to 2 hits, the character suffers shove of 4, so I guess you get pushed back from... This is where I think they think that there's, like, basically this is a person, but we're treating it as a bag. Because I don't have a good person representative. So the blue objective is Layla. So you could either exchange with her to get the key. You could try to persuade her to get the key. And if you roll 0 to 2 hits, your words make Layla suspicious. She wraps her coat around her while extending her hand outward towards you. and she basically zaps you. So she's going to shove you 4. You're going to get some tinge, which I'm not even going to go into that right now. And finishes their activation. If not in play, place the event 4 marker. So she, I guess, Layla activates the creature in the lake. If you get 3 or more hits, you get the key from her. So kind of a little bit of like RPG stuff there with the spellcasters. We're trying to get a key. That's the goal from this person in this grate, in this sewer grate. But part of what I don't quite understand is why you would interact with that. It gives you the event 1 marker. I don't know what the event 1 marker is, other than it indicates it's Layla. And if you're controlling it, you get... I guess if you make the trade with her, it allows you to do the snowstorm thing as an action. And it'll just remove that from the field. Or you could try to persuade and do the other things just to get the key, I guess, if you don't want. So,
well, mages can't use their magic unless they have the key?
No, we're trying to get a key for the next scenario. So the key specifically will... We don't have to have the key for the next scenario. So if you don't get the key, you're not like screwed in the next scenario. But it... Kind of like in this case where you could just exchange with her to get the key, or you could do like some willpower stuff to check if you can get it. It's kind of a similar thing in the next thing. The next scenario is where I got the inspiration for the Rancor in Legion. That's what was like, ooh, I want this in Legion now. And there's other stuff. You get some points for killing the lake and whatever, but we'll deal with that shortly. I remember I watched somebody else play this. It made a little bit more sense, and that's when I did it on my original stream playthrough of this by myself, because I wanted to really figure it out before we did it, but I don't remember. That was probably 4 months ago at this point. So we're gonna wing this kind of. We do score at the end of each round. You gain 1 military point if your company controls objective 1, which is a runestone. And then at the end of the game, you obtain 2 arcane points if your company has the event 3 marker. So I guess that's why you would do the exchange. So you're gonna, instead of trying to cheat your way to getting the key, if you do the key or the exchange, you get that event 3 marker. Although I guess you get it 2 if you succeed.
What do you have to exchange?
If the character has the event 1 marker, they may exchange it for the event 3 marker. But I don't know what the event 1 marker is.
So we can't exchange.
I don't know. I was thinking that it was the broken jar that I would have got in the last one. That would make more sense. Let me double check. The achievement, the broken canopic jar on the campaign log, 1-3, but that doesn't. The broken jar, the party of orcs return to their camp, and the wise man shows what they have found to the evoker. She handles the object. She has never seen anything like it. As she touches it, her fingers transmit information unreachable to others within the base. Dwells of powerful spirits, the essence of an entity, as ancient swirls up. 2 parts of the jar fit perfectly together, so the evoker joins in. Better not to tempt the hidden forces at play. But yeah, I don't know what the event 1 marker is. I have no idea. It doesn't really state it. It would make sense to me if it was the jar, so because I got the jar in the last one, I could just go and trade it. Read the achievements for scenario 1. Is that not what I'm looking at? I think that's what I read. Unless I was delayed after I read all that, but. Also, the way that they indicate these things, it's like 1-1, or Roman numeral 1. That's the end of the book. The campaign. It's all stuff for scenario 3. maybe I'm just missing something here. You got scenario 1, the event kind of information. Scenario 2, kind of event information. Scenario 3, event information for that scenario. And then the end of the campaign. And then a bunch of nothing. Am I missing something? So you can kind of see that. And then the back is just the reference sheet. I'll give them a second to see if. I do hope that they have gotten feedback on kind of how kind of confusing this is. And we get like the last physical page of this 47. I was right. So I am an idiot. Thank you. Well, I was right in my assumption, but I am an idiot as far as my reading skill goes. This achievement page that I was filling out says you acquire the event 1 marker. So instead of them just putting it up here, this is where I talk about this being kind of poorly way. Or like instead of putting broken canopy jar, instead of just having some narrative blurb here, why not just put, if you got the event 1 marker, you get, or if you got this, you get the event 1 marker instead of putting it at the end. That's good to know. I didn't even know that this said this stuff here. Does that make sense? Okay. So I had the strategist, because I got strategist and the jar, and the last one I have the event 2 marker and the event 1 marker for the scenario.
So I'll have to do some shenanigans to get it, and
Yeah, you'll have to try to finesse your way to the key, and I could just go and trade it, essentially.
Well, I have no guile, so I don't think this will be good for me.
Event 1 marker. Give me this. The player with this marker places it on the spellcaster character. Okay. Players can interact with this marker. Yep. Event 2 marker. Good, I got the event 2 marker. That's that one. Place it on the character. So basically, I should get an extra command point. Which. Sleepy? Okay. So our deployment is 25. We want to go. I guess we'll roll our red dice again and check. It's almost identical to the first time. Do you want to deploy first or go?
I'll just deploy first. 3 by 5?
Yeah. And again, our spellcasters want to talk to Layla in the sewer. And then I guess everybody else wants to. Oh, you're in that corner. Yeah.
Oh, they're both in that
Yeah.
corner, okay. Oh, cool. Now we just got a giant rock in my way.
I'd say for ease of play, because this is a board, we could just freely move over this one level. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess I get why the achievement page is like at the end, because you're supposed to like keep a tally and it's like makes it a whole point based thing. So I guess I kind of get it, but information like that should be somewhat after the actual thing going into the next scenario. I want like a proper campaign book, because the full rule book doesn't really have that much extra in that regard. I just hope they do it in a cleaner way that's easier to understand.
Did you just put them anywhere in the deployment zone? I thought you had to have them within like 3 of the main.
No, that's Shadow. This is like Legion logic, where you have your deployment zone, you just put your units wherever you want.
I thought you told me it was within a certain amount of your main on the last scenario.
I was saying the way that you move your units is like Legion, where you move the main guy and then you just cluster
Because I literally deployed them all around the main guy.
Well, the last one, it was kind of a little... We were basically all going down the middle anyways. So you can move your guy.
You know, going where you're supposed to go.
Yeah.
And then we'll put this guy...
That's my last. So you're all deployed?
Y'all.
Okay, so you deployed first, so I go first. Swing this guy around. I don't think we start with any event markers on the thing, if I understand correctly. Oh! So because I have this jar, I could just unleash a storm, or I could take the event marker and trade it for the key. That's the narrative, like RPG aspect of it. So I could take this powerful artifact and trade it for the key, or I could use it and then I have to try to persuade the person for the key also.
What's the storm do?
All units from your opponent's company must face their willpower test to 3 blue dice, so you're likely to lose it. If the roll is not successful, they receive the slowed state. So, kind of an intentional use of the snowstorm from the last scenario. So I guess if my goal was to just try to slow you down from getting to the person, I could use the storm in it. That's kind of cool, actually. I'm glad, can't read that. Zell's helping, because this now makes way more sense than it did previously. So thank you. I shall go with... I'll just go with the evoker. This character is terrible. Three, 2, 3. And again, for the purposes of movement on level, just move flat. Just go what it is, because this is supposed to be on a big flat board anyways, so. Your turn. And remember, this is 3 rounds with 3 turns each round. Okay, I try to keep up with what they're kind of doing. I don't think I've seen anything about a campaign book. I do have the Beyond the Winds from the North box. I just figured for introductory purposes it would make the most sense just to do this. And it gives more of an idea of what is possible with the narrative sense and the event tracker and stuff. And I think they just put up pre-orders or something for the like Woodland Elven kind of faction. That's pretty cool. I also like the Morn, what the hell is the fleshy people called? The Scions of Yaldabaya. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah, 4/3 moves. 7 strides at a
Yeah,
time.
he flies. They've said that they want to focus on competitive first, and once they figure all the faction abilities, that kind of sucks. I mean, I guess I don't really have an opinion. I feel like you would think focusing on the narrative campaigns that the wide majority of people would be doing would maybe be better than focusing on competitive play, because like I feel like the competitive scene's smaller than who would be using the campaigns, but maybe I'm wrong about that. I don't know. But yeah, it kind of sucks because they seem to be going at, I say a slow pace, but yeah, relatively speaking. So I wonder, maybe you know off the top of your head, I wonder if there's any community-made campaigns so far online done in like the format of this book. That would be interesting. I'm gonna go, because I feel like I have to. I'm gonna go with my evoker again. Character's terrible. I'm gonna try to summon a rock on you. This is the first time this character's ever attacked anything. But I'm not in range of my... Oh, well, I guess I can move and attack, actually. So maybe I don't have to do that. I was gonna... Basically, under your spellcasters, you have those little black diamonds. Those are modifiers that you can do to your spell. So basically, to cast a spell, you do a willpower test. You have to pass the willpower test, and then you can do like the attack with whatever dice it is. But like in my case, my base range is 8, which I'm not in range of. So I would have to modify it to get a range of 14. So now I'm rolling my willpower test against 1 black dice. That's what that is. It's not done. So now you have a greater chance of failing the spell cast to begin with. And there's a whole system that has to do with tinge. So you're basically like bargaining with darkness. Maybe it burns you and you get affected and you like start mutating essentially if you get a bunch of this. Charts here. Yeah. So it's depending on like hollows. For each hollow shield you roll, you receive a tinge, and then basically you just receive tinge up until you roll a hollow exclamation point. And then these effects trigger in this order. And you face the consequences of your basically bargaining. And it's something simple like your unit's stressed, and then to tinge all units within 5 strides must pass willpower test or they become frightened because you're like...
Right.
The third one, you receive another tinge token, so I guess you go up to 4. At 4, you gain intimidating all units within 8. Must pass willpower check, or they become scared. Once you get to 5+, you just explode. So the unit is destroyed, and all units within 2 strides must pass the willpower test with at least 2, or they suffer 1 damage for every 2 troops in the unit, rounded up. So the spellcasting system is a little confusing, but is also really cool at the same time, because you're basically bargaining to get extra power on your spell.
If you choose to.
Yeah, you don't have to. So like in this case, because casting a spell is a short action, I can move, so I don't need to worry about that. 3, 2. The range is 8, which we are good. So now I'm going to cast my spell, but before I have to make sure I successfully cast it. My willpower is 2 orange and a yellow, so I'm just looking for a hit. Okay, there we go. Wow, I got a hit, so I'm good. So now to summon thy rock, it is a red, an orange, and 2 yellow. So if I added 2 dice to it, after resolving the attack, the spell gains the property remains active and adds the effect to the target. And all enemy units within 5 receive slowed. So if you were in a cluster and I dropped a rock, if I wanted to power up that rock and make it bigger, essentially I could slow people in a radius.
These mages look like glass cannons to me.
Yep. Like I said, this evoker has never attacked a single person ever. Here we go. But they both only have a 2 health. Oh, what was that? I don't know what that was. I wasn't looking. I went to scooch it and it just rolled, so I don't remember something. And you can melee with 3 orange dice. And there's no switches or anything, so it's just 3 hits on your mage.
Well, it looks like I automatically get a save on my defense.
Boo!
And then I roll 1 blue dice.
That's not great. But you could.
And if I don't save them, it's dead.
You need at least, what, 1 save? Because you got, what, 2 health, probably?
Yeah. Oh, thank God.
So he's got 1 health.
Yeah, he's half
So
dead.
automatic save and a rolled save, so you take 1, and you're gonna get 1 stress for. Well, I don't think you get 1 stress. I think that's only a thing.
Well, I'm gonna stress him anyway and go with him again.
Okay.
And since I don't have to move or anything, I guess that kind of, yeah. Well, I'll attack him and then I'll move. So my willpower's 3 orange.
See, that's exactly why I had that emote made. Thank you, Aiden. The little close call emote.
Oh. Okay, so I got 3 hits.
You are good to cast.
I need 2 yellows, a red, and an orange.
3 hits. Now, see, you could power up yours to gain a switch.
Yeah, but I don't think I want to do that.
I'm rolling offensive dice and 1 black dice. So I'm probably dead here because I don't have enough defensive to save me from anything. Yeah, so I don't save anything. This is pretty funny. I'm dead, but you're also dead.
What?
Because my defensive roll has 1 red dice in it. So you take a damage, which kills you, and I take all that
There
damage.
goes all of the.
So we both just died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the mages can fun.
Stupid. And I think does that get dropped, I believe. I don't know, that's to get the event. I don't know, it doesn't say. It doesn't actually say that the event 1 marker gets dropped. It just says that the event 3 marker, whoever has the key, gets dropped. So I guess this just dies and explodes with them. That is kind of funny. I just stuff like that makes me laugh doing this because I just like see it playing out like in real time in my head, like these 2 mages like slap fighting each other and both just dying for no reason while everybody else is just watching.
Well, so the funny thing is in the 3rd Aragon book, there's actually a part where he witnesses a mage fight, and one of them literally detonates like fire and all the stuff, and they're just like charred ruin. But the other one got all of the liquid leached from their body. So after they kill the other mage, they stand there frozen and just water's draining out of them. It's kind of the same thing. Well, maybe a little more visceral, but we just both detonated, I guess.
So nobody's gonna get the key for next round because only the mages can interact with that anyways.
Okay, so
now we just fight over this, essentially.
I'm pretty sure it's your turn.
So we can just speed run this happening. Also, that was the first action in the 2nd turn. Okay. Oh wait.
I attacked you. So I went again with my mage.
So we both gone twice.
Yeah.
Okay. So we're in turn 3. That makes more sense. I'm gonna go with. This is the last activation of this round, so.
So I'm curious if part of the scenario is doing the stuff. Does that mean we're just left with fighting?
Yep.
Okay.
One move. And I'm just gonna do a 2nd move and watch up behind here. Your turn.
So here's the funny thing. This guy adds 2 to the conquest value of all my allies.
Yeah, for a command token, I think, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, if like you got up there, which right now that I have Wrathbane in here, their conquest is also 2. So basically, if you move them up here, you'll have to spend that token to make that.
Which, I mean, couldn't I just charge straight into it?
I don't think your range.
What's the range?
It's the
Or the assault, I mean.
yeah, if you could get to him with a double move, I guess. I don't know if you can get to him. What's their move?
3-3.
So yeah, if you can
No,
close enough
that's
distance to get
12.
well, move with your thing because you have your base distance in between your moves. So you're not in charge range of 9, so just start doing your double moves.
3. Then 3.
I feel like this is so much more difficult
And
than just
then
using a
3.
card.
And then 3. So, not quite. But I'm still within range of that. And then I guess I'll spin the token to flip it. Or do I have to wait until it's its turn?
I don't know. That's what I can't read it.
No LOS at the end of an activation of an allied unit.
Okay, so you just spin it. And that
Yeah.
lasts for the rest of their what's
Life.
it say? Rest of the turn or the round?
Doesn't say. Allied unit adds 2 to its conquest value to dispute the control of the objective. There's no time limit.
I guess it's just for that turn? Or that activation? So basically you're just triggering like a boost right then and there to flip this. But which doesn't do me any good because I don't have enough juice to get it back from you at any point. But like now that I'm going, you're back down to 2, I would assume. And that way you could keep spinning a command point to boost it to flip it. I think that's the whole purpose, is you boost it to flip it. But I can't possibly get more conquest than that, so unless I kill all of them, you're just gonna have that objective in general. Which I like my little emojis.
I mean, technically speaking, everything in this, for the most part, I mean, there's a little bit of range stuff, but most of it's melee, so I can't really claim that I actually killed somebody with my fist this time.
It still bugs me. I specifically asked for all the emotes or all the emojis to have the same text format, and then he made the toxic one green.
I mean, I think it worked, though.
Yeah, it just bugs me that it's the only one of 6 that isn't like universal. So that is the end of the round. And I think I'm just going to use, because nobody's going to get arcane point. Nobody's going to get that. Can't try to persuade. I think we're just SOL on the arcane stuff. So I'm just going to use these red dice to calculate the military points since we're scoring in the rounds. You got 1, but you control that point for now. So it is my turn. 4 points. Which, like I said, literally none of my command points for the elite version of Alborg changes anything, because it's his whole thing has to do with the rank of which these people aren't. Whereas before I had Wrathroar, I kind of lose out on stuff having the elite version. And I don't even know that he's all that much more offensive, to be honest. I guess I'll go with the hunters, and I'm going to charge here. Charge. And attack A. Big orange, red. Yellow. good. You're gonna get vulnerable on your bucklerman, and then I've got 5 hits on you.
Okay, so here's my question. So my medic, who's a part of that unit, has the ability when your unit is about to suffer any damage, roll your willpower and ignore 1 wound for each hit obtained. Now my question is, since his thing is all of my characters roll his willpower, does that apply for that too?
What's it say?
When your unit is about to suffer any damage, roll your willpower and ignore 1 wound for each hit obtained.
I would assume that for that it's... I think. Because it's like a little health potion. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe somebody else knows, but to me that would be like you're using essentially like a little health potion to heal. And that, I don't see how that would be affected by him, but I could be wrong. But you could just block all of it, so who knows? Because you get exclamation points all up in your shield rolls, I think.
Yeah. 2 greens and a black. 2 greens and a black. And solids add a defense.
That's 4. So you take 1 damage, so you could roll your
1 orange die.
1 orange and see it through.
Come on, hit!
You take nothing,
Nothing.
so that was exciting.
I just spent all my RNGs. I'm sure you'll kill me next time.
If they are joint unit, you will use power roll of the joint guy. Willpower roll. So you would have used same thing.
Yeah.
Still 1 orange. Specifically, what he was talking about was Drago has the passive thing that allows his people within a certain distance to use his willpower. Would that apply to the War Surgeon's willpower roll to stop damage if the War Surgeon is a joined unit member, if that makes sense? Your turn.
Okay. About to get real crowded up there.
It's going to get real stupid up here because we're going to have to double activate somebody because it's 3 turns.
Guess I'm going to go ahead and double activate my bucklers. And I'm just going to melee all up in there.
Well, this is your first activation for them.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, this is...
No, it's not. Because I moved this guy and then they died and then I moved them up there. When did they reset?
You double activated your Herald and you moved them. They were the last turn of the first round.
Oh.
Which is why you scored that military point, because you took that objective. So we're in the first turn of the second thing.
And they need strengths.
More gifted memberships, thank you. Now news a member, that lurker. Which I don't know how that works. If like there's 5 members, I think it gives it to people who are like in the chat. But where do the rest of them go?
Random.
Do they just get a click?
They're like on Twitch, I've gotten random subs to people I've never even heard of. And I think that's how you get new people too.
It looks like Alice Cervinka got one at some point. Thank you.
So here's what I don't understand. I get saves on my attack rolls.
Yeah.
But the other thing too is, so if I get any hollows, I get a save, and it inflicts a wound to the target because of poison.
Yeah.
So, a red and 3 orange.
But you get saves in your stuff because there are characters that will get, like I killed your mage on defense.
Attack, yeah.
Which is, I think, part of what makes this interesting.
Okay, so there is a hit, and a hit, and a hit, plus that, which is a guaranteed wound, I guess.
What a hollow.
Yeah.
Or what is it?
Because it's a
hollow
poison.
Okay. So you got 3 hits and 1 damage.
Yeah.
On the hunters. So, because I have the wise man, I get 1 save from him, and then I get a green, 2 blacks. What's the war surgeons thing again? Did specify? Is it just when you're about to take damage?
When I'm about to take damage.
That doesn't seem worthwhile, but I'm not going to do that. I could stress and get an extra red dice, which is an offense dice, but we'll just do this. So, actually, because he gets a damage for each of his shields, so that's 2 damage and 2 saves.
Now, do I have to pick what that hollow goes to, or does it just apply in general?
That's part of what I don't understand about having the joined units is how you disperse your wound counts. Because technically, Wise Mane is taking a health hit for being in this unit, because I think you use the stuff up here. So he has 3 on his own or 2 within the unit, I think, but I don't know how that applies. Which is part of why I said I just do this with Legion logic of like, he's the lead unit now, so he'll be the last one to go, in a sense. But I don't know.
Well, the reason I ask is because if I get a hollow...
First assign damage to the normal units. But yeah, it's Legion logic. He'll go last.
Well,
unless Talia has a thing specifically that is a command skill that you can target that unit out of a thing.
I'm asking specifically because I've got 2 different switches for a hollow. One is defense, and
They're
one
currency,
is...
so you spend it where you want it, essentially.
Okay.
So if you only have 1, you pick 1.
Okay.
So that's what, 2 damage?
Yep.
And so I've got 1 fella dead, and then that was 2 damage back to you as well. So my things.
So that makes us even and nobody gets stressed.
And nothing happens again. That's turn 4. We're in turn 5 of 6. So it's my turn.
I think Annie is an undercover toxic person because she is spamming your chat with toxicity.
It's okay, I paid good money for those emojis. Just glad to see them actually in the chat doing anything, to be honest. I'm just gonna stress and go with the people again, because at this point it's a race just to see who dies here first. Red, 3 orange, yellow. Oh, you know what sucks? Is when I attacked you with my hunters the first time, I did not add the wise man stuff, which I think in this case was just 1 character hit, but I completely forgot about that on the attack. Now I could stress and get an extra red dice and an extra exclamation. Don't have to do that. Yikes. Big sad. So you will be vulnerable. Which aren't you vulnerable now?
No. At least I wasn't told to be vulnerable.
From the first attack. I feel like I said it, but I think you're vulnerable currently, which means I'll just cancel 1 dice. So you got 3 and you'll stay vulnerable because I still have all those exclamation points. Yeah, that's 4 saves.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Which I will cancel this one.
That's rude.
So you get 2 saves.
Means I've got 1 damage. But I also get to roll my willpower thing.
That was, what did we say, 1 damage?
Yeah. Ah.
Yeah, take that 1 damage, sucker. And that means you're stressed. Did you take damage? I do need to check because I think we're probably going to be some demoralized people here soon, so I can figure out how this works for the first time. Your unit is stressed beyond its morale value. You must perform a willpower check at the end of the current activation. If you don't pass it, it will become demoralized. It must flee immediately. Your unit is demoralized. It cannot be activated in any way. It cannot stress itself in any way. Cannot reduce its stress. Cannot control objectives. If it participates in combat, it will always flee. If your unit flees, it must use both of its move values toward your deployment zone. When a fleeing unit comes into contact with one of the battlefield edges, remove it. Oh, so that lasts for a certain amount of time. Place a demoralized unit. Or does it go ahead? I guess demoralized is always 3 turns. Two positions in. So yeah, it's kind of 3 turns. So basically, which basically at the end of your bucklerman's turn again, if you activate them again, you'll have to check to see if that happens to you. Because it's of your current activation, I guess. Which I guess a slight heads up, assuming I get this stuff done with this company that I'm kind of going back and forth with, there'll be more Warcrow stuff on the thing just based on the terrain alone. So we'll do some more Warcrow stuff at some point. He did what, 1 move?
So far, I'm trying to decide if I want to do a range attack or not. Just to at least use it once.
Yeah, I give it to you. Just because technically you could slice a tiny little edge on this side because it's like a true line of sight. But if we go based on the bases, it's close enough.
Yeah, I may as well. Screw it. So that's a yellow and a hit.
But as far as what's coming in the bunch of nothing.
Fucking rude. God.
So that's what my hunters.
And he jinxed me with all of that toxicity.
No, well, I don't have to roll because the wise mage gives me 1 guaranteed save anyways. But he does have a defensive. I'll roll it anyways. Just see if I can't make you vulnerable for trying to shoot at me. Green. And technically, I add damage to my roll because of my shields. So you get, I guess, 2 damage and vulnerable. If that's correct. So I take nothing, you take 2 and a vulnerable fate.
With a shield.
Yeah, that's their thing. Because you add damage to your roll for your shields. Enjoy that. That's how it feels attacking Ahsoka and Shadowfall. So, we're going into the last turn of this round, I think. Right? Yes, because we've gone with the Hunters twice, and you've gone with 2 things. Okay. Well, I'll go with Alborg, might as well. I don't think I can get anywhere, so we're just gonna start zooming. It's gonna be somewhere around smart. Your turn. Anyways, as far as things that are coming up, honestly, any day, apparently, people are just saying they're receiving them, that we're supposed to be getting the next set of Halo Flashpoint stuff. So we'll do some Halo Flashpoint stuff soon. They are kind of changing the way that you go about building your people. Good. You just thinking?
I am.
Okay. Right now, Halo Flashpoint is basically just built-in loadouts for your people. And now you're going to have point values, and you can equip your Spartan. So, like, you could go with more of a base loadout with some grenades, or maybe ditch the combat knife and take this or that or the other. So maybe that should be a little bit more interesting. And they also rebalance and change some keywords and stuff. So Halo Flashpoint stuff we'll be doing soonish because we're getting a little bit of a reset there. And they just announced Brutes. So probably, if I could swing it, try to pre-order that stuff soon and get some Brutes and Atriox from Infinite.
So he's 4 hits and he's vulnerable.
So I'm rolling blues and a black. And 1 stress. So we got 2 saves. He has no switches. 2 damage.
Yep. Invulnerable.
Yeah, it's on there. And, well, I guess it doesn't matter, but I put it here to try to fix it's about to go away anyways. So that is the end of...
That's why I didn't worry about getting one for him, because technically, second activation on him, he should have been stressed, but I figured at the end of my turn he was going to be taken off anyway.
Get rid of those. Stays the same. And you get...
Oh,
a military point.
I took that point. I was wondering why there's a dice up there.
Oh.
So I've got 2 now?
Yeah, just 1 for each thing. Which, this round is probably going to be the same because of that damn War Surgeon. I can't kill any of these people because they're hard to kill base, and I can't even get like my 1 damage through per because of the damn healing. So that kind of sucks.
Well, the funny thing is if I perform a rest action, it heals all wounds. When your unit performs the rest action, heal all its wounds, which I assume means this guy would come back.
Yeah, that's part of why that doesn't make any sense to me. Maybe somebody can clarify that, because then with that logic, you could just wait till you get like somewhat low and then just bring your entire force back. That doesn't make sense. That seems incredibly out of whack if that is the case. I would assume that means you top off the people that are there, but all wounds doesn't make sense. Unless, because of the way that it counts wounds being wounds 2, that means you would restore 2 wounds. So you had a guy with basically he's saying with the War Surgeon as part of the unit, when you rest, it restores all wounds. But in the case of...
And it specifies the unit, not
yeah, the unit is 4 people in the War Surgeon. Does that restore... What does that restore? Does that bring everybody back onto the table, or does it just restore the wounds of the people that are on the table and injured? Because in Legion, when you use like a medic to heal, you're restoring minis, essentially. So, I don't know if that applies, but if that's the case, that seems wild. That you could just bring the entire unit back onto the table if it restores all wounds. That's crazy. Because they're already hard to get rid of. So we
it's
just
actually
reset.
kind of cinematic here, because you got the 2 leaders battling, and then you got the unit over there.
So we just reset, right? Neither of us have gone, or did you just go? That was
No,
before the reset.
that was before the reset.
Okay, so we're fresh into the last 3 turns. I'm gonna do 3 damage to you. I'll go with the work, I guess.
You don't. You only gotta do 2 damage to me.
Oh, he's only got 4. Does he have less than the original?
Same.
Yeah.
No, the original is 3.
Okay, whatever. So I'm gonna attack you. And I think I should stress just to try to get rid of you. Yeah, I'm gonna stress actually, because he's got a morale.
Now let me ask you this. Since there's also a stress thing for the defense, can I stress to defend?
Yeah.
Even though it's not my turn?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just not everybody has that. Like the hunters don't have stress on attack or defense.
It can't be one wound. It says all its wounds.
Yeah, the war surgeon thing, there's the healing ability for like when you're about to take damage, you roll a dice and you heal one wound per the thing. But then the other thing says heal all of its wounds. Just heal one wound, and I don't think you bring it.
I mean, it would make sense if it just healed all the wounds of existing.
Yeah, but then that's at most ever going to be one wound. And that's a...
Unless you have the ability to differentiate between spreading wounds out so you don't lose the whole unit.
No. That doesn't make sense either. I don't know. Red, 2 orange, 1 guaranteed hit, and then my stress gives me a hit and a solid.
Wait, who are you attacking?
Oh. When you have damage, you gain Dispel, where D are as many blue dice as the damage suffered. Plus, you may add yellow to your attack and defense rolls. What? While you have damage, which I do, is 2, so I guess I get an extra yellow in my pool. You may add yellow to your attack and your defense rolls, but you gain Dispel, where D, Dispel.
I don't think that dude's understanding that I've attached it to my bucklers. It's not an...
If you would bring War Surgeon to 4 wound unit. Oh! Okay. Yeah, no, we're all on the same page. Because of the unit that you're attached to, you don't gain a whole lot of value for it, but if you attached it to a unit that had more baseline health, you would get more value out of that. But because they all only have 2 wounds each, you're still only ever going to get the 1 wound, because if they take 2, they're off the table. I guess that makes more sense. But I guess I don't guess we have any good examples, because I think the Beyond box and this, they all have like 2 wounds or so each. Anyways, I still don't really understand why you have damage, you gain Dispel X, where X is as many blue dice as the damage suffered. So I guess now going forward, I add X amount of blue dice. Oh! So I guess at this point, if you attack me, because I have 2 damage, I will add 2 blue dice to my defense rolls. I think. You gain Dispel Blank, where blank is as many blue dice as the damage suffered, maximum of 3. But double exclamations. I will cancel 1 of your saves and add a damage to my roll. So this will cancel 1 of your saves. And I've got a hollow, so you'd suffer a stress. And you'd be vulnerable, which you're already vulnerable. But because I have 4 of these, I'll cancel 2 of your saves. And I get 2 extra damage into my thing. So, you got a bunch. So you're probably dead.
I don't think I can say that, because even if I were to stress, it would give me an extra green die. I've got 1 guaranteed save, but I still only got 3 die. But I think you're still going to put through 2 damage regardless.
Yeah, just roll it. So you can add the War Surgeon to Drago. I didn't even think about that.
I considered it, but I figured it would be more useful in a unit versus attached to 1 dude. Yeah, so I save 3 out of your 5, but you negate 2 of them.
Yeah.
So he's dead.
Extra dead.
No, just dead.
No, he's like extra. And I think that whole exchange that just happened there is exactly what Halo Flashpoint was missing. It makes the attacks feel more like dynamic, whereas like Flashpoint's like, oh, I need 4s. And it just like it feels like kind of basic.
Now it's my turn.
I mean, Drago's inspiring leadership to war surgeons' medic ability. What?
All allied units may use your... Okay. For the medic. So in that case, if he was attached to them, he would use that willpower to save damage. Yeah, that'd be way more powerful.
Okay.
Well, see, that's the thing. Is like when the question I asked you was, since his ability applies to all of them, would it apply to that as well?
Well, you're not using it because of that. You're using it because you're attached.
No, I know
So,
that, but that's...
yeah.
I was under the assumption when I put them there that that's how that would work.
Yeah, that's more sense.
So I guess I'm going to be attacking with my bucklers. Stressing does nothing. There's still more than 3 of them, so... Alright.
So at this point, you're just hoping that you don't get demoralized. Although, Vel knows, can you waive your ability to go? So now he only has 1 unit left. We still have 2 activations. If he doesn't want to stress them to go again, can he just not go so he doesn't risk being demoralized?
5 damage.
Vel's not weak. So we get 1 save from the Wise Mane. And blah! What the F? You're gonna stay vulnerable, I can tell you that much. That's 2 dead fellas. Hold on. I'm gonna spend one of my command tokens when your unit rolls attack or defense, fix the results from one of my dice. What did I get? Oh yeah. No, it's not. No, yeah, because I went all this. The green and black. So 3. You get how much? 5? 2, 3, 4, 5.
I think you're teasing me.
I'm not. That's the Wise Man's thing for being added, the voice of experience.
I don't believe you.
And
You're
it costs a
teasing me.
command token. So, not 2 dead fellas, just 1 dead fella. And I'm stressed! And technically, you, I think, would get damage also because I had 3 shields, right? There'd be 3 damage on you.
What?
From the switches.
I think you're just adding stuff now.
It's literally on the card.
Yeah, okay. Sure. I'm sure it is.
Add damage to your roll. That's all I got for you. I don't know what to tell you. No, you can't pass. Didn't it say if you have to pass a second time, you lose? That'd be kind of funny. I think it would make sense if you can't pass twice. But although you could still roll your 1 orange dice to see if you stop any of that damage, right? So instead of just 3 damage, you could maybe take 1 damage.
Only get 1 orange die.
Some of them have doubles. I don't know if the orange one does.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Okay. Ooh, enjoy all. Okay, that was I go, you go? Or
That was the
Have I
defense for you. It's your turn. Are you asking how many times I've gone?
yeah.
Twice?
That's why I hate this turn tracker. I don't remember. I feel like we're in you win, I win. No, I didn't go.
Yeah, you did. Because you killed my main guy.
Yeah, we're in the latter half of the second turn. Because you've gone twice and I've gone once, right? Because I've only gone
Sure.
with Outwork, I think.
I have no doubt. I have no.
But now what sucks is if I want to go with my hunters, I have to stress them, and I'm going to be over my morale value, and I have to check if they're demoralized, and that's not going to work for me. So I'm going to go with Alborg, stress him because he has a morale of 3, and I'm coming for you. I'm going to just charge into this clump, and I'm going to attack you, red, orange. No. How many guys I got? I guess technically now I would go to my two people setting because I only got 2 hunters and a wise man, I guess. Get 1 hit from the wise man. It's a red and 2 orange. That is. What am I looking at? No, I want Alborg. Jesus. Not gonna let me just. Dang it. Hello.
You know more about this than I do. You're just throwing words out.
That is a stretch, believe me.
Yeah,
You get a guaranteed hit just as part of my roll. So it's still this. And I get the yellow because I have damage. It doesn't do anything for me, I don't think. Oh, well, 1, you get vulnerable.
already vulnerable.
And stay vulnerable for the next attack. Yeah, that's all I got.
So the person you added doesn't count towards your mini count for the squad?
I don't know. I would assume that they don't because they have, well, yours doesn't. So like, Wise Man's got like what he adds to the group and what he does for defense. So I assume that you wouldn't count that for the hunter's dice pool because
Mine literally does nothing other than the healing and the poison vials.
well, I guess that's what your benefit is. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh boy.
I'm assuming you add those 2 cards together in their own separate things. But again, it's way off.
Appreciate
And check your, because you got 1 damage, so you could roll your orange dice. And oh wait, I can cancel one of these because you're vulnerable. So you got 2 damage to deal with. Boo! No, it's hollow. Yay!
What is it supposed to be? What?
That's for your war surgeon before you take damage thing.
Oh yeah, it just has to be
So
a hit.
you'll still take 2 damage.
So that's another dead guy.
Huzzah! And now you're stressed.
Already stressed. Stress me out that you're making up rules.
I'm literally not.
Oh yeah, look at all this unavoidable damage. That's 7 hits on you, brother. Dang.
It is avoidable. You're just not rolling your orange dice very.
No. That has nothing to do with me. That's RNG, and I spent all of it on that one attack that I got through.
You should know this at this point because I don't know what I'm doing most of the time. I try to apply stuff as evenly as we can. Because
Nonsense. You're just doing it to obliterate me in another game.
well, not to mention you're winning. It's 2-0 right now. I have no points. So unless I could kill you in this last turn, as long as you can live, you will win.
Okay, well I have passed, so.
So you don't get demoralized.
Correct.
Oh, I think I have to do the same.
Okay.
Well, hold on. So is that? So you've gone twice and I've gone twice.
And my pass will be the 3rd.
Okay. And this is the last turn of the game. So I guess it doesn't matter. I have to go with somebody. And I don't know who would be better to go with.
At this point, I don't think it matters.
I need
You need to get 3
4.
damage to push me off the board.
And with my hunters, yeah, there's a damn fly that keeps coming around.
There's another one.
I was trying to record something the other day, and there was a damn fly. It kept buzzing around. I kept having to pause it, and I was like, kill this damn fly. I'd get like halfway through it, and you're, I'm like, I'm not kidding. I recorded that like a million times. So if I go with the hunters, they're going to be over. I'd have to check if they're demoralized. If they failed, I couldn't capture that point anyways. if I go with, I could go with Alborg and it'll be at his threshold but not over it, but I don't know if he could get enough damage through it. But I'm going to have to try, and I'm going to have to stress him over his limit, I guess, to get that little bit of extra. We'll just roll the base stuff. So we'll go, that'll put him, I don't actually think you can stress over your limit.
So what happens if you flip it at the end? You get 1 point?
I don't know. I will have to check and see what happens if I kill all of you, if I just win by default, or...
But if I win the round, I don't think I would just lose the points.
Yeah, I don't know. We're going to find out. It might not matter. I don't think it's going to matter, because I'm going to get 3 damage through. That's a lot. He's got 1 hit, and I've got orange and a red. No, and a yellow, because he's damaged. Ooh, double. Ooh. Like to see. And you're still vulnerable from the last turn.
And I'm rolling 2 blue dice.
Fine. That's 2 saves, so you save 1. That's 1, 2, 3. Yeah, so you're just dead.
Even if I were to roll my point and save it.
Yeah.
Because I've got 1 damage on one of them.
The game ends at the end of round 3 when one of the companies. Game ends at the end of round 3, comma, when one of the companies has no units left, or when all units on the companies are demoralized. So I guess that this is kind of like part of a battle. So I guess it doesn't matter if you get tabled, in a sense. So it's would be 2 to 1, I guess. It doesn't say. It just says that that's the end of the scenario. But you still... Oh yeah, and we never dealt with the lake awakening because our guys died immediately. So... I think technically Justin won this round based on what we're checking currently. It doesn't seem like it matters if you get tabled. And since this is all part of like a campaign that we tally up here at the end. So nobody got the key and nobody got the Monster Hunter stuff. And then I got 1 military point and you got 2 military points. So right now, based on just point accumulation, you're up by 1 point. No, I'm up by 1 point.
I was about to say, you won all 3 objectives, or 2. No? Yeah, 2 objectives in the first one.
Yeah, but the stuff that I got, the main stuff that I got from the first scenario, we didn't get any value out of here. And you were only capable of scoring 1 of each point. So I've got, right now I've got a total of 2 military points and an arcane point, and you've got 2 military points. It's 3 to 2. And there were more points available in this one, like a lot more points that we didn't get to take advantage of because of our mages dying instantly. We will do the last scenario at some point because that is about where I want to end. That was 2.5 hours or so. I didn't know how quick we would or wouldn't get through some of this, but we've also been doing well. So, in this case, well, let me read check our narrative things here. End of scenario, military points, no arcane points. So, under the leadership of Drago Bjelgoric, the Black Legion is an unstoppable force. The pristine white snow is corrupted by the blood of the orcs, who must retreat before being completely annihilated. The supernatural aura hovering over the wasteland has dissipated. It is nothing more than nervousness clouding the soldiers' judgment in this abandoned corner of the world. There is nothing, only snow and desolation.
God, you picked the emo one?
That is the end of Scenario 2, Mirror in the Wasteland. Scenario 3 is the Heart of Winter. And I'll read this just to set us up for what's to come at some point. Drago brings his troops to halt several feet from the ribbon of the red mist that rises before them. The crimson threads snake upwards from beneath the ground, sprouting from the silhouette of an immense crater. These must be the seismic disturbances. The advance reports discuss the place is definitely unsettled. A fog slithers about as if there was an underwater plant with a will of its own. A strange glimmering can be seen at the bottom of the crater, but closer inspection will be necessary to better distinguish what it is. Show no mercy to these beasts, for they do not know of it. No matter what the outcome, the hegemony is already proud of you. You are the Black Legion.
You know, I feel like you're just baby stepping us into D&D.
That's honestly what I like about this game specifically. I want more of these narrative campaigns.
Because a lot of the D&D campaigns are narrative.
Have you recording you put together all of your landscapes? I did the first members only live stream last Wednesday of setting up the table for the Thursday streams, and that's probably the plan going forward. Is Wednesday at no real schedule point. I'll go live for members only, where I set up the table for whatever I'm doing that Thursday. Something like that. Alborg has spent a lot of time observing the crater in the company of the evoker, studying. Oh, that bitch is dead.
In the company of nobody.
Studying strange movements of the fog while wondering what could have caused the gigantic cavity. From the position, it's not possible to distinguish what is at the bottom. From the way it glimmers, he would venture a guess it is some kind of metal. Sorceress sniffs the air and immediately advises her companions not to breathe in the crimson fog. It's dangerous. The advance of the hegemony ends here. There's another paragraph there, but I don't think anybody here wants me to read that, so I'm not going to do that. So, the last scenario has to do with a gate and a door that you can use to open the key. You don't have the key, so you have to touch the door and see if it opens, and depending on how it opens, it spawns the Morn Mab, which we don't have a model for. It's represented by a little token. We're not going to do that, so we'll use the Rancor, because that's sense. And there's fog events that'll damage you. I think the last time the Herald got killed by the fog has to do with these fog tokens that come up. So it is a narrative thing, and that'll be the end of the Winds from the North narrative. And hopefully we get more campaign books at some point. But that is it for this one. So at the end of scenario 2, the Northern Tribes are up a total of 3 points to 2. And we have no keys or no nothing going into the third scenario. So.
Good thing you have magician. Wouldn't have wanted him to get obliterated.
And it'll come back in the next scenario also. So
I should have used force choke.
All right, that is going to do it, guys. I appreciate all y'all hanging out with us. Again, memberships are live. If you want to like, sub, all that good stuff. I appreciate you. I will be back on Thursday for some solo something. I don't know what yet, but we're going to play something. Halo Flashpoint coming eventually, whenever that shows up. And then members only stream on Wednesday if you just want to watch me set up the terrain and everything for Thursday. That'll be there. Also, not that you can see it in this camera angle, I still want to work on the brick wall for members' names to put in the room, so that'll come at some point. But that is it. I appreciate y'all. I will see y'all on Thursday. All right. Bye, guys.
The power of the dark side.